Sunday Soma. Erotic Politics and the Liberated Body. Reminder why I create. Steady creation plus reciprocal living equals regulated, resilient nervous system equals somatic sovereignty. Somatic check-in. My body is electric today, vibrating with a particular kind of energy that feels both ancient and immediate. Not just that I'm in my internal summer, aka ovulation, though that's part of it, but something deeper. A cellular awakening to the pulse of life itself. And no, it's not the full moon or the latest astrological forecast, nor is it some temporary state that will pass without transformation. This feels like something fundamental, something that demands acknowledgement. It's the erotic nature of existence itself. Now, before you click away thinking this is heading in an NSFW direction, hear me out. When I say erotic, I'm channeling Audre Lorde, who wrote that the erotic is a measure between the beginnings of our sense of self and the chaos of our strongest feelings. It's our capacity to feel deeply, to be fully present in our bodies, and to experience joy, connection, and power. The collective political body we exist in and the personal body are not separate entities, in my opinion. They're the same organism viewed through different lenses, micro and macro. Just as my cells cry out for sovereignty within me, our collective body politic screams for liberations from systems that constrain and constrict us more than ever. And what I've been feeling lately is the pulsing, insistent reminder that true liberation, both somatic and political, require us to reconnect with this erotic power. Not as something to be feared or hidden away, but as our most basic life force, our deepest wisdom. The politics of embodiment. There's something profoundly political about inhabiting your body fully, about claiming every sensation, every emotion, every cellular vibration as yours in a world that profits from our disconnection from ourselves, that seeks to legislate, control our bodies. Simply being present in your soma is revolutionary. When we numb ourselves to avoid pain, we also numb ourselves to pleasure, to joy, to the ecstatic nature of being alive. We become easier to control, to manipulate, to pacify. The systems that benefit from our disconnection know this. They count on it. But what happens when we reclaim the erotic as power? When we recognize that the same energy that fuels our desire also fuels our rage, our creativity, our determination to create change. Something magnificent and terrifying could happen. We could become as free as a wildflower blossoming into its unique blueprint. We could become ungovernable. Grief and ecstasy, revolutionary twins. Our deepest moments of ecstasy and our most shattering instances of grief are not opposites but twins. Both tear open the fabric of mundane existence to reveal something divine beneath. Both connect us to the raw truth of our humanity. Both remind us that we are alive, that we matter, that we feel. The political system that oppresses us would prefer we experience neither. They want us numb, distracted, just comfortable enough not to revolt, but not so comfortable that we truly feel sovereign. The blessing, though, in these changing times is that things are no longer lukewarm. They're heating up, and it's giving us a chance to crack into that collective honeypot of all things swirling underneath the surface of a clean veneer, motivating our collective movement towards what has the ability to save us. the precious kinetic energy of properly felt, expressed, and channeled human emotion. Our ancestral lineages understand this. My own quilt of Black, Irish, and Afro-Indigenous heritages carries cellular memories of both tremendous suffering and incredible resilience. The body remembers, the body knows. And when we listen to our bodies, not just the comfortable signals, but the uncomfortable ones too, we tap into generations of wisdom, power, and energy. Somatic democracy as revolutionary praxis. What would it mean to create a society that honored the wisdom of our bodies, that recognized our inherent right to pleasure, to rest, to connection, to sovereignty? It would mean dismantling systems that profit from our exploitation. It would mean creating new ways of relating to each other that honor our interdependence while respecting our autonomy. It would mean learning to listen deeply, attentively, to the intelligence that lives in ourselves. Somatic democracy is this way of being. It's a way of being that recognizes true liberation cannot happen without honoring the wisdom of the body. And not just certain bodies deemed acceptable or valuable by dominant culture, but all bodies in their glorious diversity. The voice as vehicle for liberation. As I wrote last week, the voice remains our most powerful tool for channeling this erotic liberatory energy. When we speak our truth, when we give voice to both our grief and our ecstasy, we create ripples that can transform both ourselves and our communities if channeled properly. But using our voice this way requires courage. It requires us to be willing to crack open, to be vulnerable, to risk being seen in our fullness. It requires us to choose self-compassion over self-censorship, to recognize that our stories, all our stories, even the messy, complicated, not for public consumption ones, deserve to be held with tenderness. Some reflective questions I'll be journaling on this week. What would your life look like if you surrendered fully to both grief and ecstasy, letting them shape you without resistance? How would your daily choices shift if you trusted your body's wisdom as deeply as you trust your mind? If ecstasy were your guide, how would it speak through you? What message is longing to be expressed? What sensations arise in your body when you imagine yourself living in full, unrestrained pleasure? Where do you feel the pulse of your own aliveness most strongly? What parts of you are still waiting to wake up? How would our world change if we made policies that prioritized joy, sensuality, and embodied truth? What fears arise when you allow yourself to feel the full spectrum of ecstasy or the full spectrum of grief or pain? What would happen if you moved through them? If your body could sing its deepest pleasure, what song would it create? What would be possible if you let ecstasy lead you without shame or hesitation? How does your body respond when you give yourself full permission to feel good? The journey towards somatic sovereignty is not linear. It's cyclical, spiraling, and often very messy. But it's also profoundly liberating. When we reclaim our bodies as sites of sacred wisdom rather than battlegrounds, when we honor the erotic as the source of our power rather than something to be feared or commodified, we create the conditions for genuine positive transformation and transmutation, both personal and political. And that, wild, adventurous souls, is revolutionary. Until next time, mic drop.